You took the vacation. You finally used up all of your PTO. You rested, you stepped away, you slowed down, and when you came back, you told everyone how amazing it was, and you genuinely meant it. But within just a few days, you're right back to where you were before you left. Stressed, overwhelmed, exhausted. What happened? I hear this often, and what I also hear is the self-blame that comes after. I must have rested wrong. I must have picked the wrong destination or messed up the handoff somehow. And I think by the end of this video, you'll realize that that blame doesn't belong to you. If you've ever been the type of person who've been able to handle most anything, and lately you're quietly wondering why you can't anymore, this channel's for you. I'm Ruth. I have a master's in organizational psychology, and I have over 20 years studying people up close in companies and in their lives. And what I've learned is that burnout isn't about workload. It goes much deeper. And there's a way back. If you've ever taken time off from work and felt like it didn't improve your stress or well-being, in fact, there really wasn't a lot of payoff in the end, which makes you feel frustrated and also just feel like the whole thing is not worth your effort, I'm here to tell you that you did nothing wrong apart from living in a culture that conflates fatigue with burnout. What's the difference? Fatigue is a lack of fuel, rest, and recovery. You can be fatigued from a hard workout, a long day at work, or sprinting for a couple of weeks toward a deadline or a goal. And this means that if you're fatigued, tired, exhausted, you can rest, you can sleep and refuel and slow down and take a long weekend, and you'll feel refreshed and like new again. Burnout is a misalignment issue, and rest can't realign what's misaligned. So you might ask, well, what is misaligned here? And I'll tell you. There are 6 areas that researchers called environmental misalignment. And you don't have to experience all 6 to experience burnout, but generally there are usually more than one going on at the same time. The first is workload. And this is when the demand outpaces what you can actually meet it without stop. The second is control. And this is whether or not you have a say or flexibility in how you do your work. The third is reward. And whether we're talking about pay or recognition or appreciation, it's just not at the level relative to your contribution and efforts. The fourth is community. So this is when there is a strain in relationship or feeling isolated with the work that you're doing, or just not getting the general support from the people around you. The fifth is fairness. And this is when decisions can feel like it's biased or arbitrary or politically driven. Number 6 is values. And this is when what matters to you is in direct conflict with what is required to do the work. These are the 6 areas that contribute to burnout based on the work of Christina Maslach. There are also other traits and mindsets that makes one more vulnerable in an environment that is draining. That also contributes to burnout. If you want me to cover those, let me know below. All of this to say, burnout isn't just a vibe. It has a real definition with a validated tool that measures the level of burnout. By now, maybe you're starting to see the picture that no amount of PTO is going to make meaningless work more meaningful. No amount of rest is going to make an unsupportive boss more supportive. And no amount of slowing down or grand vacations is going to fix unrealistic demands, lack of recognition, or having a say in how you work. So, which begs the question, do you have to leave your workplace in order to fix burnout? Not necessarily. And many of my clients actually don't. And if you want to learn what they do and how to make work for you, remember to subscribe and stick around. And that's what we'll be talking about here on this channel. But for now, I want to leave you with a tiny experiment so that you can experience what we talked about here today for yourself. The experiment is to rest. I know. I don't want you to take a whole vacation though. And the purpose of the experiment isn't to fix burnout. It is to gather data that only you can provide. And by this, I mean, I want you to block out 15 minutes, 30 if you can afford it, and rate yourself before you rest on 3 dimensions: how you're feeling physically, mentally, and emotionally. And I want you to rest for 15 minutes and rate yourself again on those 3 dimensions afterward. If you are physically exhausted, if you are genuinely fatigued, having rested 15 or 30 minutes is going to start to move the needle toward improvement. You will feel a little bit better. And so that's your data point. And if it feels better, do a little bit more of it. Maybe bump up 15 to 30 minutes, 30 minutes to an hour. And again, rate yourself on those 3 dimensions before and after. If I didn't mention it, maybe on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being miserable, 10 being awesome. Now, if you've rested and you notice that, it really didn't harm you, but it didn't really move the needle at all toward improvement, that's also data point. And for you, I want to give you a second tiny experiment. I want you to trace back to the moment right before you felt overwhelmed or stressed or drained. Maybe it was a conversation or an interaction, or maybe it was something you were thinking about. This might take a little bit of practice because it's not like we do this every day, but you can do it. And just jot it down. And I want you to do this for a week. And just notice whenever you're starting to feel that drain, that go back to the moment right before that feeling. Maybe after doing this for a week, you'll start to see a pattern surface from your notes about possible environmental mismatches that are contributing to your drain. Here's the thing. Rest is a good thing. We all need rest. It is good for us. It takes care of our bodies. But burnout is a misalignment issue. And rest won't ever align what's misaligned. To fix that, we have to first look at it clearly. If you're currently in burnout, the question isn't, how do I rest better? The question is, which of these mismatches have I been tolerating and why for so long? If what I shared today landed, I'd love for you to subscribe and stick around. This is what this channel is about: burnout and the way back, seen differently. For now, take good care of yourself as you would a good friend, and I'll see you next time.